All right, welcome everybody to my channel. And to this video, we've got an exciting one for you. Today we're going to be installing a reverse osmosis system. I'm going to be showing you how to install it, but also give you my impressions about it. Here is the actual faucet. We'll be drilling a hole through the granite countertops in this video. I'm going to show you how to get it installed from start to finish. We're even going to be doing a family blind taste test toward the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so before we begin, I just want to say thank you to Lowe's. This video is made in partnership with Lowe's. They sent me this in exchange for an honest review, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. If you are interested in buying this specific unit, I'll put a link in the description below. We're a family of 4. We are on a community well, and so this was a big decision. Do we actually invest in a reverse osmosis system to increase the water quality? This particular home already has a water softener and an iron breaker, so that's important. This actual unit is recommended for municipal water. However, it does say that it can be used for wells. You want to make sure that you have a pre-filtration system installed in your home before you even consider this, because basically a well can have particles of water that can jam up these filters pretty easily and significantly reduce the lifespan of your reverse osmosis system. Keep in mind, I am no professional at all, so this is going to be working for our family. You'll need to do your own research and due diligence if you're thinking about installing a reverse osmosis system under your specific context. Now, we chose this specific one because it actually met the budget. Now, I did decide to spend, or would have spent, a little bit more. This was the $400 range at the time of making this video. You can see the current price in the actual product link if you're interested. But this one was actually one that met the price point, but also had the quality and the look. You can get ones for pretty cheap, but they have all of these different pieces and parts. And I really liked this design. It's just one unit, you pick it up, and it's real sleek, real finished. And just as important, it has a brushed nickel actual faucet here that matches our current existing setup. Now, talking to some professionals, they actually recommend that anything over like a 4 or 5 filtration, a stage filtration, is probably overkill for regular kind of residential setups. And so that's something to consider. Is a 2 or 3 stage filter going to do the job, or do you need something a lot more advanced and sophisticated? Obviously, that depends on the quality of your water that you're drinking now. So you definitely should spend some time in researching that. You just don't want to find a good deal on one and then think that that's going to serve your specific needs. So after much research, I decided to go with this particular unit. Enough from me. Let's go ahead and get this thing installed. Let's start by just unboxing the product so you can get an idea of how it's boxed and the quality. Then we'll get started actually putting it into the kitchen. So I ordered this and it took like a good week for it to arrive. It wasn't like, next day, although I suppose you could pay for it. Anyway, it arrived and everything seemed to be packaged really well. There was no obvious damage or anything like that. And I thought it was just super sleek right out of the box. Here is a look. We've got 2 big filters right on the front side, and I'll be showing you how those eject a little later in the video, but really simple. One thing you want to do, obviously, before you order it, make sure you measure so that it does fit. The dimensions are in the product link and in the manual. You can check that out before you purchase and just make sure that it actually fits. In my case, it's going to go to the right of the sink and look, I think, really sharp under there. Not that many people look under my sink, but you want it to look clean and generally organized. All the other little parts and accessories come with it. There aren't that many, to be honest. Again, as I mentioned before, that's why I bought this particular unit, because it's a really simplified version compared to other units. So we've got the actual stem and the handle. As I mentioned, this mostly matches our finished brushed nickel faucet, our main faucet in the kitchen. And the actual faucet itself for the RO system looks just like this. Nothing fancy, but very high quality, a heavy stem with a lightweight neck. There's a better look at the comparison of the brushed nickel. Obviously, we need to wipe down the main one. It's got a few water spots on it, but for the most part, it's going to be, I think, a really good match. Here's everything laid out. We've got all the tubes and the drain hardware and all that good stuff. And we're ready to proceed. Now, before you get started drilling, you want to obviously decide which side you want this to go on, and that's totally personal preference. A couple of things to consider. If you are big on, stacking this side high with pots and whatnot, this might actually hit the pots, or a pot might hit this and damage it. Also, if you've got a light switch or a garbage disposal switch, you don't want the faucet to actually impede access to that. Also, are you left-handed or right-handed? There's lots to consider. I think we're gonna end up putting it over here on this side. You could center it maybe about 4 or 5 inches away, or kind of put it over here. And also, the last consideration is probably going to be, what do you have on the underside of the sink? You want solid stone. You don't want it to obviously hit there. You don't want to go too far to the left or too far front, because you're not going to have clearance for that tube to come out on the bottom of the actual stem system here. Actually, no, scratch that. We're going to put this on the right side, not the left, because even though it may block this a little bit, you can swing it so that pots don't hit. And basically, we want this stuff over here, and it feels a little more natural to have a little more balance over on this side. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the sticker that it comes with and place it on the correct location. And this 1-inch diameter will basically be our cut hole. Now I'm measuring 3.5 inches from the wall, which is the center point of the main faucet from the wall. So it is equal, laterally speaking, to the main faucet. So I'm really happy with that location. All right, we've got the center pilot drill bit in the middle and installed. This is a specialty bit. Just ordered this online. And we do need a little bit of water. Spray bottle is preferable, but we're just gonna drip water in here. And basically I put down a little piece of tape in the center of the hole just so it doesn't slip. And we'll go ahead and get that positioned. This is a 1-inch drill bit, obviously. And we'll just start the pilot hole like this. All right, that started the pilot hole. And it took that tape right off of there, obviously. So that's just so that it doesn't walk on you. And it should sink. You should feel it kind of bite down. Do a little bit of pressure. There we go. We got a little hole in there. That's good. Enough to remove this now. We'll put a little bit of water on. You can still see the hole. We got a little water around, and then we're gonna drill it all the way down until the actual edge of the bit starts to dig out the inch circle, and then we'll take off the center pilot hole bit. And how do you know when you've hit gold? It starts splooging through the other side. Quite hot water, so be careful. Wear gloves and protective eyewear, by the way. We'll clean this up and then take a look at how successful we were. Woohoo! Mission accomplished. Here's a look at the underside. I just made it. Woohoo! Next, we're gonna turn off the cold, and you might as well turn off the hot. You're not really gonna use the hot, but supply. And there we go. We got quarter turn valves, all 3 of them in my case, hot and 2 colds. Kind of a stretch, geez. Actually, I think I just need to turn this one off. But let's go ahead and check. Drain out all the water, hot and cold. We don't want any water coming out of here. Next, we're gonna take this adapter piece, and you can see we've got some fittings here, and they've already done the connections here, running this tube into the side of this piece. But basically, we're gonna take this, we're gonna unscrew the water supply right here. There's the water supply valve and the water line, the pipe itself. We're gonna unscrew that and basically connect this to that. All right, that's off, and have a towel for any excess water. Next, we'll take this adapter piece. You can go ahead and uncoil it. There's an arrow up. Your water valve will connect here at the bottom, and the water pipe will connect here at the top. They do have some adapters if your pipe is not 3/8. Mine is, and so you can just screw directly onto this. If you have a larger size, you might need to take, well, you will need to take off this top adapter and the bottom adapter. They unscrew. Just make sure these are tight if you are going to use them before you proceed with the next step. And we're going to go ahead and put the supply side on first. So let me orientate that correctly, give you a better angle. We're going to attach it just like that. Can you see that? So I'll put the camera down, 2 hands here. Oh, I've got like no room back here, right under the garbage disposal. Hello. And if this part is inaccessible, it helps to put the little adapter piece on first, your 3/8, and then go this one, because this can spin, this nut can spin in tight spaces. Whereas if it's all connected as one big unit, your cord's gonna hit the wall maybe. So we'll thread that on there and get that tight. Next, we'll take our cold water pipe and we're gonna put it in, plug it into, or screw it into that inlet that we just installed. And here's a better view for you. All right, those are on and tightened by wrench. Next, let's install the faucet. If you haven't already, let's take the faucet and 1, 2, 3. There's like 3 washers you saw. And this is assembled. This is the stem. We're gonna put it through the hole like this. And then we've got some pieces in this order we're gonna attach to the underside of the counter, starting with this washer piece, the plastic nut flat side up, and then a lock, this quick connector piece, and then the other lock in that order. Put that through like that. And that's self-sufficient. That can just be weighted right there so you don't need 2 people, which is kind of nice. Come under here and put these 2 pieces on the stem. Oh man, that almost hit me in the eye. Look at me saving money. Don't you love DIY? So I'm pulling the stem down so it doesn't come up on me. And we're gonna twist the nut on just a little bit before I put the washer on. Now we'll put the washer on. Okay, good. We are secured, and let me hand tighten that. And before you get it completely tight, you might want to go up top and make sure it is correctly oriented. All right, what do you think? That's kind of cute, isn't it? Oh, I like it. Okay, then we're going to take this quick connector piece, click it on, and then the blue lock goes up top, and the blue lock goes on the bottom too, so it doesn't come out. There we go. All right, we're going to get ready for some more drilling. We need to take care of the drain. We've got this sticker here. We'll take that and we're gonna paste it basically on, oops, take those out. Paste it onto the front part of the saddle, and we're gonna make sure that this hole aligns, because this is gonna be our hole that we're gonna drill. Make sure that is securely on there. Not bad. Yeah, I think that'll work. We're basically going to attach this to the vertical drain pipe and drill a 1/4 inch hole. And I highly recommend getting one of these if you're not sure. Your drill bits should be marked, but if they're old and rusted, like some of mine are, this tool is pretty awesome. All right, so here is my setup as you have been seeing earlier. We want to position this on a vertical piece, vertical drain pipe right there, and not the horizontal, and definitely above the P-trap because you don't want sewer gases coming up. And as far as orientation goes, we don't want it coming out at us. I think that's obtrusive. And we definitely don't want to put it this way because the unit's going to be right here. We don't want to put it in the back because it's a bit inaccessible and you can't really see leaks. I think it's going to be best right here. And be real careful not to drill through the other side, obviously. There we go. Next, we'll take the red drain pipe. It looks kind of like you're drawing blood, like blood's going through it or something. Kind of gross, but we'll just push it right down the middle, and the tag actually will prohibit it from continuing, and I think that's kind of how you know it stops. The instructions say it's like, 0.6 inches all protruding all the way through, and you want to put the end of that red waste tube through the pipe, the vertical drain pipe, as you see here, and that is how you do it. We're going to secure everything down with the 2 provided bolts and the nuts. There's a back piece to the drain piece itself, obviously, because it needs something to latch onto. So you put on that white back piece, slide the bolt through the left side and the right side, and just do this by hand until you make sure everything's aligned before you tighten it down. And you definitely don't want to over tighten anything. This is plastic, and so you don't want to crack or break anything. So just nice and snug on both sides. And something to remember anytime you are putting the waste tube, the water tube, any of these like flexible plastic tubes into a fitting, you need to lock it down with these blue lock pieces. All right, now we're ready to put this in position. Make sure the power cord is up. Slide it in. All right, I can still access these tubes, and that is what is next. We're gonna take this one. If you remember, this is the cold supply line, and it's clearly labeled right here. It says input water tubing, and the black line, we're gonna be snaking down and around, and we're gonna put it into the port that is labeled. You can see we've got F, N, and W. And you can cut this tube down to size if you need to. In this case, I think it's gonna be adequately long, and we will push this all the way down into the in port. To the line. And that is all the way down. I feel like it should be a little bit more, but it's not budging. Now I'm gonna secure it with one of these blue clips, and to do that, I'm gonna pull up just a little bit, and then you can secure it with the clip provided. Need 2 hands for that. There we go. So again, just lifted up a little bit and slid this right underneath that gray lip. Next, we'll do this piece of tubing. It's white, and this is the filtered water. This will connect. It's got black lines on both sides, and this will connect to the actual faucet. You could do this one first if you need to. We actually might have to move this out of the way to access it. And then this will go right into the top here. Not the red wastewater, but the other one right here. All right, under the counter here, notice I took the little blue plastic lock off of the most bottom one to put the pipe in, and then we'll re-secure the blue plastic lock. So that was a little tight, but it worked. See, that one sunk all the way in. This one I cannot get in for the life of me, so hopefully that doesn't leak or we might have a problem. Do this with one hand. There we go. Good. Then we'll finish it up with this wastewater. All the way down. Good. And then this little guy. Okay. Good. Now we'll put it all back together back there. And by the way, it's a fairly heavy unit, and so you take caution that it doesn't fall. It's also a little slippery because of its smooth design. So now I'm gonna finish up here and turn on the supply lines, all of them. And I'm gonna be paying close attention to any leaks at any of the points. any of the junction points that we took apart. Okay, we are also dry here on the drain point. That'd be another point where the water is exiting through here as it drips out of the sink or comes out of the sink. And we are dry, so that's great. Now under the sink, I've got my outlet and a switch here that powers the garbage disposal. It's not constantly on, so we may have a problem when I plug this in. I don't want the RO system to operate only when the switch is on. So I may have to do a little electric here because, yep, it's not turning on. And that is true with both receptacles of that outlet. So I'm gonna power off the breaker and take out, make sure that it is safe to touch. I'm gonna do a little bit of rewiring here. Nothing crazy. I'm just gonna take out the outlet and I'm gonna snap off this copper tab on the hot side here. Gonna do a little rewiring here, get these wires going where they need to go. And basically, long story short, I'll make a separate video on that, but making the bottom receptacle power the garbage disposal by the light switch, and the top receptacle of that outlet is gonna be constantly powered and on. And you can see here we've got lights, so we are good to go there. And we're gonna, of course, do our checks for leaks with our hands. That's gonna be non-stop for like a good week to make sure our connections are secure. Got my flashlight and checking the water in, the wastewater, and basically anywhere where those tubes go into the unit itself or anywhere else. Now there's two big filters here. One lasts long, it's kind of the main one. One lasts longer than the other. One's longer and one's shorter. Literally, the bottom one is the really long one. The top one is shorter, and time will tell in terms of how long they last. But we've got model numbers. I've looked those up. They are affordable, and generally speaking, of course, that's a subjective term, but we'll see how long they last. They have really good reviews, so I'm very optimistic. And super excited also that they're so easy to switch out. You saw that quarter turn there for both of them. They just slide right out. Super nice. Now, as soon as you plug your unit in for the first time, you need to have it ready. You're gonna turn it on and just let it drain for 30 consecutive minutes. Yes, 30 consecutive minutes. I'm not a big fan of this, but the unit basically needs to flush itself and is not adequately drinkable until that 30 minutes has passed. And if you stop flowing, it will reset the 30 minutes. So make sure you do this once so it doesn't actually end up taking you more than 30 minutes. Now we're on a septic, so I am curious how much water it actually is wasting during this filtering or flushing process. And you can see it took about 33 seconds to fill 4 cups. And that calculates at a rate of about 14 gallons for 30 minutes of flush time. By the way, I'm watering the flowers instead of having it go down the drain, but don't forget about the 2-to-1 ratio. For every 2 gallons of clean water it's flushing right now, it's producing an extra gallon. So it's actually using, during this process, the flushing, 21 total gallons, 14 out of here and 7 out of here. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it off. The unit just turned solid blue after 30 minutes. So it's got like an auto timer built into it. So we are good to go. We should be. Let's try it out when we turn it on. Here's the unit sound. And it's indicating that it is working. Let's close the cabinets because sound in real life, not too bad. Off. On. So you can softly hear it down there, but it's not intrusive at all. And again, we've checked for leaks everywhere. We look really good. I'm happy with the decision of putting it here as opposed to over here. And the light switch is not at all blocked, which I thought. And then when we move pans and pots and stuff, we can just move that aside. Check that out. That's not a problem at all. So we're gonna take a glass right now and take a sip of fresh, cool water. And for comparison, I'll do what we were drinking right out of the faucet. And we've got oxidation in our water, which just means bubbles. And we'll turn that on. Okay. test it out visually. And after the bubbles settle, you can't really tell visually a difference. Let's taste it right now. Okay, that's the old water. Yeah, definitely a difference. Much cleaner, super pure. I definitely prefer this, the RO water, to this. But I think we should get the kids down here and the wife to see what they think. Let's do a true blind taste experiment to see which water is actually better. Just over there is fine.
But if we put one in the hat, where does our other one?
Just throw it away, it doesn't matter. Don't put it in the hat though, okay? So here's sample A, here's sample B. All right, make sure nobody knows which one you like the best. You can go first. Okay, go put your favorite one in the hat. Next. Okay, we have our winners in the hat. Who wants to pick them? Go ahead.
I do.
Yep. You can take turns.
B.
Let me see it. B.
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 Yeah. B.
Are you serious? All three B?
Yeah.
Guess which one is the new reverse osmosis water?
B.
B.
Oh.
Hey, that's a win. You like that, huh? Yeah, the taste is noticeably different.
That's good.
That's an upgrade. Yeah, it's a good thing. I spent a lot of time on that. You guys better like that reverse osmosis water, right?
I don't like it.
Oh! Oh no! Really appreciate you being with me today. Thanks so much. Hopefully you learned something. Good luck with your project, and I'll see you in the next video. What should my next project be? I'm sure I'll think of something.